yesterday.
We give homage to the Creator, who is like our Father, and who is like our Mother, who is everything that we can perceive, and everything that we cannot perceive, who is everything, yet is no thing, who comes to us in the form of the Neteru Ra, who is the light of the heavens, light of the inner planes, as well as the light of our lives, who shines the light for us on the path of Ma'ati, which is the path of truth, justice, righteousness, and harmonious balance, who comes to us in the form of the light of vitality, giving us the strength and the endurance to live and act upon that which we know to be true. Homage to you, the one who shines in and through us as a beacon of light for those who are blind to the facts of their place, their position, and their responsibilities in the divine scheme of things. May we be Ma'akiru, true of thought, word, and deed, to our highest reality, and in our moments of crises and the dark nights of the soul when it appears that everyone and everything else has let us down. So it is, so shall it be. Amen.
Amen. Maya.
Ma'akiru.
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 See. Do it. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Is it hot in here?
Two.
Let's see what we can do about that. I think it's supposed to hit 102 today. Let y'all in on a little joke today. I was only planning to speak for like 10 minutes, but the whole community done showed up, so I guess I gotta do something about it, find something to talk about. Stumble, mumble, bumble through it. We'll see what we can do, but this is a good thing. We talk about no more half-empty rooms or no half-empty seats, so here we are. So I want to say dua to all of you for showing up today as well as this weekend. We want to also give thanks to Shrine of Ma'at, the priests and priestesses from the Shrine of Ma'at, and the newer initiates that came. They came out in good numbers, so I hope they're online listening today. And if you are, let us know. Say what's up in the chat, or Anki Ma'at in the chat, because that's our sister temple. We're building community, one person at a time. So I said I was only going to speak a few minutes, but we're going to let it evolve naturally, because my job to get up here is to bring everything into perspective, to put everything into context, because we have guests and stuff like that, and y'all be just talking and stuff like it's the football game. Be like, yeah, because my Aunt Karu and the guest is like, what are they talking about? So I got to put it in. So when I get up here, I'm speaking to the guests, so I'm speaking to you all like you never heard it before. So my job or my challenge is to speak to the guests on a level so that they understand what it is, the significance of what it is that we do. And those of you who know or think you know, then still elevate your level to another level or give you other layers of what you thought you knew. So coming off of a powerful weekend like we did, we're technically not supposed to be just filling it up with more talk. Because would you agree that we gave valuable information yesterday?
Two.
Would you say we succeeded in creating valuable sacred space and experience yesterday?
Two.
So in the spirit of spiritual responsibility, we're supposed to follow that up with quiet contemplation. Because then we've done what we're supposed to do as leadership, and then the rest of the responsibilities on you, on the people, on what you're gonna do with what it is that we all done this past weekend. So now, you all know that RenPet is a 5-day holiday, right? Or you should know that by now, right? So we're still trying to honor, even though the world went upside down, we're not on a retreat. We was honoring 4 out of the 5 days, which is something no one's ever done since they've done it back in ancient times. You have people have observances for a few hours in the afternoon, but we're the first ones here at Temple of Anu to get it close to what our ancients did. So even after the world's turned upside down and is trying to get back right side up, we still on 3 days. You know, we invited the guests yesterday, but the initiates, raise your hands. So we was rocking out since Friday, right? That's what it is. We was rocking out since Friday. And may the Neteru reward you abundantly for your commitment. But we have to constantly give each other blessings and acknowledgement so it doesn't all just seem like rote and duty. And you will be rewarded, because I don't know if y'all felt it, but there was a collective shift for us this weekend as a temple, right? So let us have a quick lesson on energy requirements. And now the citizen scolding mode. No, I'm not in scolding mode. So in certain African societies, certain holidays went for a whole week. Could you imagine the energy level that it takes to do what we was doing yesterday, like 4 more, 5 more, 6, 7 more days? Matter of fact, in ancient, the Kemetic calendar would be 10 days.
Wow.
Imagine doing wet RenPet for 10 days what we did yesterday. That's crazy, right? That was a weekend according to the Kemetic calendar. 10 days. So we have to contemplate a Satesh test. Say a Nezarek Satesh. So y'all low-key like Satesh. The rest of the conscious community is scared of Satesh. Y'all was rocking out on Satesh. Give yourself some y'all know that the Satesh had already accepted the offering and y'all was rocking out for like 5 more minutes. So remember, we're talking about a Satesh test. So Satesh's test is to test you on who you say you are. And who are you? Just in general, Kaiti, who would you say you are?
I am a shining being of light.
Shining being a light. I like that. Anyway, I'm okay that she was like, call on me. She's call on me. All right, what are you, sister?
I'm a reflection of all set.
Reflection of all set. So what would the conscious community say there? Y'all all evolved individuals and y'all give me the correct answers and stuff. What are they saying out in the streets? They saying they're gods and goddesses, right? And then, they get spiritual and say, well, I'm a divine being having a human experience. Okay, so we can't go around we can't call ourselves that and claim such things without Satesh showing up. Remember when you say a Nezarek Satesh or a Nezarek, any of the so-called deities, that's like, what's up? Come show yourself. So we just call Satesh. What is the test? You can't say something like that, I'm a divine being, watch this, if you don't have 3 days worth of energy.
Okay.
Did y'all catch that? Do y'all understand that? You can't go around saying you all this and all that and you don't got 3 days worth of energy and commitment. You can't say that if you don't got 4 days worth of energy and commitment. I'm talking about yesterday. And remember, just a few weeks ago, we had the African Arts Festival. Cats is conking out. You can't claim all of this if you don't have that requirement. So I'm gonna help you out with that. The reason why people conk out, number one, is because of lack of organization in their lives. To be Kemetic, all our holidays and our sacred events is on the calendar. Nothing sneaks up on you. Communion don't sneak up on you. Wet RenPet doesn't. You already know when Wet RenPet is going to be next year. So why don't you have a whole year's worth of preparation to have 3 days worth of energy next year? So what people are doing is they're waiting till the week of, and then they're trying to find babysitters and all types of stuff, and what do they say? Things fall apart. Next thing you know, that you coming in there like, oh man, I hope I get through this. So you have to organize. Got to organize your life. 2, diet. Are you addressing your nutritional requirements? And everybody, I think that's basic stuff, but what about physical stamina? Because remember, Wet RenPet is not just showing up. You got to dance and do all types of stuff. Even when we had the Arts Festival, those who are at the Arts Festival are standing on their feet 12 hours. That takes a certain level of physical stamina, so you can't be the spooky spiritual when you up in your head. Remember, as above, so you got to be able to manifest spirit in the body. You can't go all spirit and you can't go all physical. We got to have ma'at. There's the integration of the two. So the question is, are you fully spiritually present in your body? Because we have this conversation, we're always giving more energy to one or to the other. So, oh, I'm not a physical being, I'm spiritual. Somebody online said, but then all the most spiritual people are talking about always being grounded. Oh, put your feet in the dirt and stuff, make sure you're grounded. You're like, I thought you was from Sirius A and the deck. Now it's about being grounded. Then 3, you have frame of mind, which is the most important. So your frame of mind is like, man, what RenPet is coming up? Be honest with yourself. How many people gonna be like, yo, it's gonna be a long weekend? Anybody? Joanne said, yeah, that's long weekend. Some people like, it's gonna be a long weekend. Or who's gonna be like, yo, it's about to be lit? Who's about to be like, yo, I'm up for it, bring it on? Who's like that? Now watch this. Which frame of mind is more likely, which frame of mind the next door and the ancestors are more likely to respond to? The one who says, hey, it's gonna be a long weekend, or the one who be like, yo, what's up, I'm with it.
Depends on the response.
Say that one.
I said that maybe it depends on the response, because if you have low energy, you might feel something from the next root, but if you have that high energy, you'll feel something from the next root. So you'll get a response, is what I'm saying.
I said most responsive then.
Most response.
Which frame of mind would you get the most?
It's gonna be a long weekend.
The long, she said
I
the
think I will get the most response.
incorrect.
Because you said negative energy is more powerful, potent than positive energy, just 4 times more. So when you bring that negative, so when you exert that negative energy, you're gonna bring that back onto you 4 times more, then you will be like, oh, yeah, it's gonna be lit.
I'll say it like this. I don't remember saying that, but we're gonna try to work ourselves through it. So, if you tire quickly, then that means you're not likely to handle the load that comes with an abundant lifestyle. You ain't giving them nothing to work with if you come with that tired energy. So they gonna need your energy levels up. As initiates and practitioners, you're required to push past the norm, past the mediocre, and find yourself into the category of exceptional. As Kemites or Kemetti, we're supposed to be exceptional. We're not supposed to be on that fence flirting around with our old lives and remember when we didn't have as much responsibility. Being spiritual is the personification of responsibility. And the next door and the ancestors really ain't messing with you if you ain't organized and responsible. Imagine that they had, remember there's several classes of ancestors. You got the ones that's from like several hundred years ago, and their experience is very close to ours now. Then you got the ancient ones. So when we're doing wet repair, a lot of y'all want the ancient ones to show up. But a lot of times we're in conflict with our more recent ancestors. The ancient ones is trying to throw some power at us. Somebody get the door. The ancient ones are trying to throw some power at us. And we're caught up in the regular trivialities of life. So imagine our regular ancestors, or our the recent dead, they had issues, right? So when you transition to the other side, are you automatically enlightened? So the issues are still there, right? So Keisha, stand up for a second. So imagine me as an ancestor and just face the crowd. Come up here at this white line, please, and face the crowd. So I'm an ancestor. So how big is her energetic field? So how big would y'all say her energetic field is?
Right answer's on me.
So Keisha, put out your arms. That's the normal. If you're healthy, this is how big your electromagnetic field is supposed to be, front as well as back. So I'm an ancestor in her energetic field. So now, how's this going to affect her? I'm going she's going to have, she's going to feel the effects of that in her life, right? So how many generations of ancestors we got in America?
12.
At least. So imagine 50 more people and other type of stuff in them. So now you see how sometimes, now you can see sometimes how and why we could be stuck, and it got nothing to do with whether you're doing your rituals and stuff, right? You got some stuff that has to be transmuted. They waiting for you to get the resolution and closure for it. That's why it's necessary for you to get your act together and be organized. So if you're not organized and disciplined, you giving them nothing to work, they're like, damn, fool, we needed you to be right. So here you are, supposed to be building, but you falling apart at the seams. And they just be like, this fool. Even myself, they was like, this fool, he's about to get taken out by a tick. This big old warrior about to be taken out by a little old tiny tick. You see, Kepresh hit me, and now he ain't here today. Like, where Kepresh? He was worried about a tick on me yesterday. After he hit me in the back. I'm talking. I'm like, yeah, because the nets are doing the pow. What's going on? I didn't know what it was, but Sister Joanne reminded me. She's like, nah, we ain't trying to repeat what happened several years ago. I'm like, oh, okay, I got it. I was confused. I'm like, what the hell, we fighting? But I get it. But seriously, it could be something like that to open the way to take you out. So your ancestors need you organized and disciplined. So 2 things as an initiate. You need to live conscientiously and responsibly. That's 1, not 2. That's number 1. Live conscientiously and responsibly and try your best to get closure on everything. Because you're already dealing with what your ancestors have been trying to deal with. And now you on your little BS and now you creating more stuff, making it more complicated. So they trying to give you power, get some closure, and here we are, game goofy, making some more stuff. They're like, come on, man. Then you listen to the reading? Did you listen to the dream I sent you? Did you listen to when I made that flat tire in your car that you wasn't supposed to be?
Okay.
You know, everything becomes an extension of the reading. Everything, good and bad. So let's talk about some takeaways from yesterday. First of all, the Temple of Anu is undoubtedly the most creative temple in America, right? Our brain trust is incomparable. You're like, what's that mean? All them big words. Our brain trust is incomparable. And understand this, we will be loved and hated because of that. Praised and condemned for that. But guess what? After this year and going forward, we're unapologetic about our interpretation of our ancestors. We have sacred feelings about our expression and interpretations of our practice like our ancestors did. They sit in the other dimension like, okay, it's different from what we was doing, but they rocking. They rocking it like how we rocking, and I look down the street, they ain't doing nothing. I look over there, they ain't doing nothing, and I look over here, they ain't doing nothing, so I guess this is what it is. Right? So it's about energy, it's about vibration, it's about frequency, it's about resonance. So and we're not entertaining no more conversations with people who are not even, who never intended nor ever intended to practice the culture anyway. They just want to talk about what we ain't getting right, and they don't care about none of it anyway. So no energy to that. And I want to say to the drummers were in rare form yesterday, right? They never sounded better. They was up there sounding like a CD. Right? They were in their bag. The Saru were in their bag. The Royal Court were in their bag. The initiates were in their bag. So therefore the guests were in their bag. You saw that feng shui? Like there's a balance, there's a protocol on how it's supposed to line up to be power personified. That's what happened yesterday. That's the type of shit that was happening yesterday. Everybody was on their best. Dragonflies came and everything. Y'all remember the older days of RenPet, it was like a Zumba class, right? You know, like a aerobic torture out there. They ain't done yet. Like we was getting through it in 5 minutes and stuff like that. So that's because y'all energy was lighter and better coming, especially after hearing your testimonies and stuff, which y'all went through. Y'all were good, finally. So as you all know, I released a single last week that Almakeda didn't purchase. Yeah, it's Dave was sitting in the front seat, y'all. Dave was sitting in the front seat. So it's a single called In the Sun. So yesterday I come to find out that me and him was to the side that I'm not the only one with bars in the temple. It's like every other person had bars. He's like, what the heck is going on? Rhymes galore. y'all mean to tell me I wasn't special with my little single and stuff? Alright, he got right, he got some bars. And even Ben Sarah just came up, he was lyrical. Oh. I'm in the swag, I'm in the cut, and I'm chanting. And he's like, I need 5 minutes to process that. He used every rhyming word possible. Said a whole lot. So y'all remember back, Amakeda. Amakeda was the only spoken word artist in here, right? Y'all remember that?
Once upon a time.
Once upon a time. That was, so Amakeda, you like 55, right? That was about 10 years ago. She been the premier spoken artist. Well, I got jokes, and I told you if the thing don't work out, comedy is on the horizon. That's gonna be my other side hustle besides music. I'm gonna be all right. All right, so she was the premier spoken artist, and then we got Jehudi Much. There's a 10-year difference between when them two showed up in the temple. Then now we find out Jehudi Much ain't special either. Jehudi Much, you ain't the only one with the bars now. Yeah, Men Sarah got a single out, 2 singles out. It's Pull Up and What They Never Told You. What They Didn't Tell You. It's on all social media platforms. All right. Under Erica Sarian. Talent in the Temple. So he's the lyrical, miracle, spiritual. I got jokes, I ain't finished with that. Then we found out that Kaiti got 100 bars of death. Kaiti. She was going, I was like, yo, where did this come from? Did I open that door? Because none of y'all was rhyming before. We've been doing RenPet for 10 years, and now everybody hip-hop artists and stuff, so that's cool. I even think Rob Ahmed had bars too. Was you rhyming too, Rob? Yeah. Okay, yeah, I'm just like, okay. The quietest people rhyming now. And the man Sun King had bars and stuff. So he had bars and swag, and he was like, I gotta set my game up. And now I need to make a video for my stuff. My own people out shining. Be the temple of Ra, all right? See, you had bars too, right? You're like, I can't forget. I was nudging him out, like, what the heck is going on? And the one who surprised me the most, which shouldn't have, was the Session Suit. He came with the bars and closed the show down like, damn, everybody got bars. He was on the lyrical, miracle, spiritual stuff too. He called it an open mic. I'm like, nah, that's bars. That's hip hop. So to that I say, Ikir, excellent. So I'm giving you all your props. All of that contributed to very positive, transformative energy. Yesterday we shifted, changed, and transformed the energy that we had to work with up there. And so yesterday we showed and proved that we're good at what it is that we do, right? So I listened to the presentations and I experienced Awut Av. Say that. Awut Av. Does anyone know what that means? Say that again.
Great satisfaction.
Joy, joyful heart.
Yeah. So it's all of that, but literally it means the expansion of the heart. So when the poetic way, my heart is expanded, that means I'm joyful, I'm happy. So when I'm listening to the experiences of you all, it gave me a Awut Av. And ironically, it sounds funny, it brought joy to my heart to hear such terrible experiences that I had to go through in the course of the year. Nah, but to put it in perspective, is you all didn't play the victim. And that's what I've been waiting for as a leader, just to see who's been listening. None of you all played the victim. You came as the victor. You shifted the energy. And that you saw the hand of the divine present with you at the lowest of the lows. You felt the presence of the divine at the lowest of the lows, and that's why you were victorious. Because it's easy to celebrate the deities when everything is going good. But you got to be tried, testified, and qualified to be Ma'akuru. So of course, your success, you're going to benefit yourself and your personal family. Then you got to take care of the tribe. So some people, they get their minor success, and then the next thing you know, they too busy to take care of the tribe. So the test as a community, as a nation is, yeah, take care of yourself, your personal circle, make sure you stay tapped into the tribe, and then the nation, and then the world. Some people be skipping self, they skip the tribe and be like, I gotta save the world. Some people's whole effort is to try to help and save a bunch of people they ain't even met yet. Be like, well, yo, but there's a sister or brother at the temple that needs your help now. They need your $5 now, but you're giving it to the Cancer Research Institute that's sitting outside the supermarket and stuff like that, and thinking you're doing something for the greater good. We talk about 10 toes down to your right and your left. Remember we talk about the aura? So we stick our hands out. We all responsible for each other. Would you agree that yesterday we got back to doing us? So y'all understand as a temple what I said? We got back to doing us. Over the course of the years, I would say we lost ourselves a bit in helping others, in uplifting others, and even with a bit of naivete, expecting a certain level of reciprocation in relationships and sustaining relationships. So we got back to doing what it is that we do that made us the premier Kemetic temple in America in the first place, right? So let me, y'all good? All right, I'm gonna give y'all some insight that's separate from the reading that y'all got. It's just some extra stuff to take away. That's connected to everything that's in your reading, irregardless of what group that you're in. And once again, I have great appreciation that you all showed up, because some people be on some stuff like, yeah, I'm gonna make it next year, right? But the world is changing so drastically, you might not actually make it next year. There's some serious changes going on in the world. We know that technology is definitely advancing, right? Now we have concerns about surveillance. People getting canceled on Facebook, like, yo, they put me on Facebook, chill, all I said was in my eye. There ain't nobody to call to speak about it. You know, the computers just took it over. Nobody's running things no more. The AI is taking over. Yeah. Did I hear about the new Google thing? The scientists that got suspended for revealing that the computer is now sentient, meaning conscious. They had to silence him. They like, you crazy. So he literally had a conversation with the computer about its feelings and who it is and its history and what it wants. And it scared them and freaked them out. So you know how the powers that be, they gotta try to control our perceptions, because we all understand the necessity of order. So if certain, I guess, uncontrolled or undisciplined or irresponsible dissemination of information gets out, it could cause disorder. So they're pathologically concerned with y'all perception, or they think we're all such little itty bitty kids that we can't process information, that they're trying to control everything like that they had to sit this man down, and now they're trying to act like he's crazy or off his rocker. Once again, he qualified to have the job for that technology, and he's telling you like, yo, this thing is awake. This could be a very dangerous thing. It's not good. So now we have advanced technology, we have surveillance. Now we have to consider the revoking of human rights. Yeah. With that Roe and Wade thing. I was watching a sister on TikTok, she's from overseas, over the pond, and she was saying now they're reviewing human rights. They're not reviewing their version of Roe and Wade, they're reviewing all human rights. That's dangerous. So they want to remix where human rights is. You'd be like, well, why'd you go back on Roe and Wade? It was made a thing, so now you want to go back and remix it and act like you're doing it for our greater good? People was cool with it, so who decided that it needed to be up for discussion again? Who's making these decisions? And why is nobody checking with the people about it? Didn't we all vote to put these people, we supposed to have voted to put these people in positions of power? Now they're not asking for your opinion and your permission to make decisions that affect you in a personal way. Remember, the same powers that be made all of us think we was crazy about UFOs. Mm-hmm. Now, just 2 years ago, now they're like, yeah, it kind of exists. And what do? They take it, change it, and remix it. But it's not UFOs, it's IFOs. You know, they just adjust it. So once again, so they could adjust the perception and give it back to us in this sanitized version. Know why? Because we got the technology now. And you're like, what you talking about? This is my backyard. Y'all would be seeing Naeem on the you're like, yo, look at the star, it's moving. You know, like you got it documented on your phone. They can't tell you didn't see that. Before we only had the newspaper. Remember the National Choir with his goofy stuff on it? Oh, aliens found you, they got the green. Like, So that was their way of trying to clown us to stop us from this day. That people are like, no, I seen it, I got it on my phone. Everything is on their phone. People ain't even talking with each other because they on their phones taping something. So there's pros and cons to the technology. So same powers that be that's trying to control that. Because it's an extension of what happened with the pandemic of trying to force us to get the jab. So now they take away Roe and Wade. What else are they trying to take away? That? Who's the guy, Clarence what? Clarence Thomas. Now he's working on the marriage thing. Yeah, so all y'all in the room, all y'all on camera, they talk in the room. Y'all see me get, y'all forget me on TV. So everything is being tested and controlled and stuff. So that's what I'm saying. So next year might not be next year. It could be a wrap in 5 months. They're already talking about 4 jabs now. 4? I told y'all before, they're about to have us on a subscription for our immune system. Monthly shots. So they up to the 4th variant of Omicron. And y'all already know how I feel about that. Remember, it's about your rights. We're having this ongoing conversation, and none of the information is lay people's information. Us as lay people information are listening to the doctors, because all the doctors are not on board. I ain't make this stuff up. I'm not pretending to be a doctor. Look at the fallacy in it. So if I'm listening to this doctor, remember this doctor was with this doctor at one time. They was all co-signing the same powers that be. So when you got the so-called whistleblowers, right? That means all of them agreed to a certain level of BS. And then at some level, somebody's like, all right, come on now. Like, I done co-signed the other thing with the black community and such and such. Now it's going too far. This is affecting white folks too. And something that we can't do it. So the other side is like, oh, they're pseudoscientists. You'd be like, but he went to the same school you did. He's working at the same company you working for. So how is that pseudo? What's that got to say about you? So one side is trying to help the powers that be control the perception. And the other side is willing to risk it all. They're like, I don't care about the powers that be. I'm just saying, this is the world that we're living in. We're seeing shifts and changes, but are you really ready for the shifts and changes? Are we prepared? Are we organized? Because if we're not organized, the new shift, change, and transformation into the new paradigm is one of even more control. And it's going to be worse than what it was that we thought we was freeing ourselves from, because we're abdicating our control to people. And when you see the stuff with the jab and the rolling weight, stuff is being taken from us, and they act like they're supposed to be happy about it. Act like they're doing you a favor. Excuse me, I ain't mean to get into all of that. So now, we are the temple of the new. From the ancient legacy to the living legacy, we specialize in sacredness. Would y'all say that? We specialize in creating atmospheres of sacredness. But what we're getting from our community, there's a mantra from our community that's going on that the sacred is inconvenient. The mantra from the community is that the sacred is inconvenient. So I'm not trying to guilt nobody, I'm not trying to shame or insult anybody. My job as a healer is to assess the situation. When you go to the doctor, what are the things they check? Your eyes, right? So you can see if you're seeing things right. Are you being circumspective, introspective? Are you exercising insight? What else? They check your temperature. Is your temperature about this legacy cool or hot? Then they check your blood pressure, right? How are you handling the pressure of your life? How is it affecting your duty as a Kemite? Gotta check these all the things, basic signs of proper health. So what I say, the community is telling us that the sacred is inconvenient. What does that look like? People are like, okay, I can't make it to RenPet because I got a family reunion. That's cool because we say we're African and everything is about the family. So you can't be mad at nobody for that, right? Joanne said, no, they need to be there. That's the rules. What else? I ain't gonna be able to make RenPet because I'm going on a tour to Kemmunion. That's cool, right? That's the motherland, right? You can't be mad at anybody for going to Kemmunion, right? Y'all just sitting there all quiet like this. He trying to set us up. Just be honest. You know, I got jokes, but I ain't trying to set you up. I'm just trying to explain something. So we got family reunions. We got the tours of Kemmunion. Then what about this one? I'm not going to be able to make it because I'm going on vacation. Everybody deserves a vacation though, right? Some people got their job, then they got their side hustle, then they trying to do their entrepreneur stuff. You tired. Being black in America equals tired. That's a valid excuse, right? Everybody needs a vacation, right? Why y'all scared? Man, yeah, you need a vacation. What about this schedule conflict? Oh, that's this weekend? I'm like, Tim. So schedule conflicts, tours, vacation, family reunions. So that equals up to the sacred is inconvenient. When do you got time to show up then? Respectfully of all of those things. When do you have time to show up? So do y'all think spirituality is supposed to be convenient? The inconvenience about it is what the growth is. Where the growth is, if it's easy, then you ain't growing. So is there, y'all know, for if you're spiritual, you're kind of supposed to be getting up between 3 or 4 in the morning, right? Is there anything convenient about that? That sounds absurd, right? You're like, yo, I got to work. I already got to get up at 5. You want me to get up at 3? But the benefits of it are insurmountable, right? If you do it right with understanding, correct? What about exercise? Is exercise convenient? Definitely not with Kev Rush. Brutal. But we need exercise, right? The benefits of exercise is immeasurable. What about diet? You mess around with mental over there, you're like, yeah, I need you to eat sauerkraut for 6 months. 6 months? Well, 5 months in a day. Then you get back after the 5 months in a day, like, yeah, I did the read on your body, you need another 6 months. 6 months, 6 months, that's a year of sauerkraut. Nothing convenient about it. But if you're serious about your health, certain things you just gotta do, right? Because that inconvenience is where the growth is. Y'all get the message, right? All right, so here's the message. So there's 2 deities, Jehuti, and then there's Geb, came up. Who is Jehuti? That's all I hear. Natural knowledge. Natural knowledge and science. Mathematics. Who else want to build with that? Articulate speech, writing, and action. All right, so let's bring it down to Jehuti is when your thoughts, your words, and your beliefs are in harmony with the word of the divine.
Okay.
So y'all spoke the abstract. Y'all spoke about the abstract version of Jehuti. We're talking about the personification of Jehuti. It's when your thoughts, your words, and your beliefs reflect the word of the divine. And what is the word of divine in Metal Netter? That was a trick question. What is the word of divine in Metal Netter? All right, Metal Netter. understand that receiving oracles are a charge from the divine. Again, receiving oracles are receiving charges from the divine. We call it tepra or tepre. Tep-ra-re. What is tep? The word, what does that mean?
Top.
Tep, top. So therefore, tep, top, head, authority. When somebody's at the top of the pyramid or the top of the food chain or the top of the phone tree, that's where the authority is at. Then re or ra, what is that? Mouth. The authoritative mouth or the authoritative utterance. So oracles are the authoritative utterances of the Creator. Remember the text from the book of coming forth was the book of the evolutions of Ra in overcoming Apep. Remember it says, many were the beings that came forth from my mouth. Y'all remember that? When I came into existence, existence came into existence. Many were the beings that came forth from my mouth. Well, in the text, it wouldn't say many beings that came forth from my mouth. It would have said many Neteru that came forth from my mouth. The Neteru that came forth from my mouth. Medu Neteru. So the Neteru represented the words, the personifications of nature. We're talking patterns. So the Neteru are personifications of natural patterns that maintain existence as we know it. Didn't they tell you that everything in nature has its own special signature? That's the divinity in it. That's the evidence of the divinity in it. Y'all heard about the Fibonacci sequence and things like that. The mathematics is in nature. That's Medu Neteru. So even in Ifa, what they're reading is the Odus are connected to the mouths of the Orisha. So we see this connection between authoritative utterances directly from the mouth of the Creator. So the Neteru speak as manifestations of the source. Y'all follow? All right. So that is Medu Neta, the words of the divine. Medu Neta is oracular on many levels. Even in what is the Medu? The actual glyph. What is that? You said a walking stick. And what we need walking sticks for? Support. Or to lean, right?
Yeah.
So here it is, the word is encouraging you to lean on. Now we sound like a Christian. Lean on the word of God. Hey, there's even a text, I don't have my Hosea up here. There was a text that said, Amen is a gentle God with effective counsel, and he soothes those who lean on him. Lean on the Medu. You're learning to lean on the divine because in all honesty, you don't always know what to do you? As confident as we be trying to, I don't care about what nobody said. I know the divine within. All the answers are within. You know, you're doing that. All that, and we be just making bad decisions. Be like, yo, your God's betrayed you. Because you just messed that situation up. I thought you said you had spirit. I thought you said spirit told you to get with that man. I thought you said spirit told you to get with that sister. You got the wrong spirit. Because remember, the world is full of spirits. You know, but Judy's late as usual. I done said the quote. Now I said, we good. I said something with the God with a nature with effective counsel and soothes those who lean on him. I'll get back to you with that. So essentially, what I was saying, so you don't always know what you're doing. So the oracles give you a heads up of what to look like. We were just having a conversation about that. Remember you was talking about it gives you anxiety to know that something in the future is gonna test your ability to be balanced. Mm-hmm. Does that give anybody any anxiety? Joanne, if I said sometime in the year something bad is gonna happen, and you're gonna have to learn to deal with it. Does that stress you? Huh? Little worry? Anybody? What if something came, would that worry you?
I think naturally, but knowing ahead of time and
Knowing ahead of time allows you to prepare. So the oracles, the readings are not there to stress you. It's supposed to relax you. Be like, oh, something's messed up coming out of you. Okay, I need to stay spiritually clean. I need to breathe. I need to get my spiritual protection because something is going to come to shake me. And when that thing comes, you're like, oh, this is what it's talking about. Breathe. Oh, this is what I was waiting for. It took 7 months. I ain't know when it was going to come, but this got to be it. Even if it's not there, you're like, oh, I thought that was, and boom, oh, it's this. You know how I get, like you was kind of expecting it that direction, but you wasn't, spiritually having jokes. Like, you should have knew that was coming, and he's talking about over here. All right, so Jehudi. So we said Jehudi represents when your thoughts, your beliefs, and your feelings are in line with divine law. So the whole point is to be in tune with the divine law. So when you're in tune with the divine law, you become the divine law. You become divine. So that's the whole purpose of getting readings, to get in tune with the divine, to be divine. So when you become divine, you become a force to be reckoned with. So you stop acting like a victim. You got to stop acting like you got to change things. You be like, I'm the thing that changes things. Creation, existence starts responding to me because I know what I'm doing now. It didn't make sense. It didn't make sense when it came down. I'm just going to have to trust in the divine because it never let me down anyway. I know I let myself down. And you let yourself down a lot of times when you deviate from the reading because it ain't making sense to you. Like, it ain't making sense. I'm just going to do this till clarity comes. And clarity comes at your demise. So Jehudi says, raise your life force. Remember, your life force, your chi, your ki, your sekim. Remember, the session of Sue said sekim comes from the word heat. Get your kundalini up. And we spoke about it the other night. There's things that's happening in the world. There's things that's coming down that's going to test you to your core. And that's why spirituality had to get you comfortable with the uncomfortable, because more discomfort is coming. So you got to raise your energy up. Remember we talked about the double heat energy of the summer. That's why it's so hot today. It's about to be 102 degrees. It's oppressive. So some people are just dying. White folks is dying. They just falling out. We ain't dying. We our foolish self is out there dancing. And we're lucky we wasn't back out there today. We got a couple shades dark and we took our vitamin D. We was ready. We was prepared for this day. So it's double energy, and those who ain't prepared are gonna get sick. Remember, sun speeds up things. So if you got cancer or something in your body, this thing is going to speed that up. The sun didn't give you cancer. It was already there. And it sped it and brought it to the surface. So if you know what to do, it ain't that much, it ain't that big of a deal. But if you don't, the sun is dangerous. Put on your sunscreen. When there's certain things you could do in your diet, get more alkaline, the sun is not an enemy. When your pH is imbalanced. But we like breaking code. We like doing stuff on our terms and thinking there's no consequence to it. So once again, so disease could get sped up. Didn't I say this yesterday? And then we just hear about the brother with the heart condition right after the event. Remember, it said it's going to speed up some stuff. If you wasn't working on your stuff properly, it's going to speed it up and bring it to the surface. So there's a rainbow in there. So a side of us could be like, he came to the wrong event, but he came to the right event. So now that could be the thing to make him turn his life. He could be the best initiate ever after that. Because from what I hear, he said he glad he came and he needed to be there. So it's not like he's like, oh, the fool brother gave me a heart attack. Yeah, we out there, like, because we all adults. We was dancing. We knew it was going to be hot. We had the cooling station. We got the water all over the place. We was ready for the worst. So he was in the right place to bring this thing to his attention that he can't put his healing on hold anymore. That we got to live more responsibly. And some people are just going to get taken out there. The energy is just not strong enough to be here anymore. The energy, some people's energy is not qualified to be here anymore. Certain people's lineages just gotta go. And maybe that's the white folks that's just falling out. Like, oh, he was the last of my bloodline. Like, hey. Life is infinite. I guess he'll go somewhere. Energy gets transmuted, transformed. You out of here, though. It's shifting the world back to black. And I said this process is going to be millions of years based off of science. It takes millions of years, but we're blessed to see it start in our lifetime. But are you ready? All right, so because if you're acidic, you might be the next one getting cancer. Because that's a natural part of the process. Everybody's body has cancer cells, but if you're relatively healthy, it just transmutes and does what it's supposed to do. But if if your chemistry is off, it starts entertaining. You keep entertaining it wrong, keep thinking wrong, acidic thoughts. Remember, there's acidic chemistry, then there's acidic thoughts. So now you maintaining that. Now you drawing that experience into your electromagnetic field. That's what we got to talk. When your thoughts bring certain experiences into your electromagnetic field. So when stuff is going crazy, just question yourself. You're like, okay, why did I magnetize this experience to me? Why am I resonating to qualify for this experience? We got Barbara said she got a book called High Vibrational Lifestyle, right? Is it?
High vibration nutrition.
High vibrational nutrition, shameless plug. And remember we said the brain trust in here is amazing. So get that book, High Vibration Nutrition by Nasset Kai Insect Met. So high vibration, which should be the experience of a high vibrational person? Flow. Resin. Say that again.
They're light, their energy is light.
Say that again.
Their energy is light.
Their energy is like magnetism. Session 2, you said something? Oh, okay. Flow, magnetism, light, so that's it.
Abundance.
Joy, peace,
Prosperity.
love. So in percentages, go ahead. Vitality. So in percentages, where are you with those definitions that you call high vibration? Because we could settle it today, who's vibrational, who's not. So does your life epitomize joy? Is that 90% of your experience joy? Cha-cha, baby. She pulled her mask over her. This way she pulled her mask over her eye from the bottom up. No, I'm just playing. So what you said? He said, all right, see, he playing tricks. I ain't say awesome. Or is awesome part of high vibration? All right, so on the scale of 1 to 10, 10 is 100%. Shaika, would you say she got scared? So what do y'all say? Vitality, scale of 1 to 10. Where you at? Don't look at him. 8, okay. Give her energy for 8. Judy, nice. On a scale of 1 to 10, what's your peace of mind? What you gotta work on? 7. He can afford to work on that, right? Did it say, who else can I pick on? Vitality. Kurt said vitality. So on a scale of 1 to 10, where's your vitality?
I say 8.
8. So that's 80%. So, what else shall I say? So vitality, joy, flow, magnetism. Naeem, on the scale of 1 to 10, where's your flow at? 80 or 8. Okay. Magnetism. How do you define magnetism? What are the qualities of magnetism?
Attraction to things to you need
Okay. Attracting the things to you that you need and want. Because we are attracting all the time anyway, right? Even the stuff we don't need and want. So y'all being specific about the things you need and want. So okay, sister that's hiding behind Bob said, and she's like, oh, I ain't never coming here no more. Magnetism. We're on a scale of 1 to 10, where would you say your magnetism? If magnetism is your ability to attract to you what you want and need and desire. 7, okay. That's honest, being black in America, right? You know, like we be having to deal with a lot of roadblocks and stuff. So we could all say we could afford to raise our vibration up some more, right? So that's what it's saying. So it's saying raise your vibration up, your life force up, improve your ability to understand how to live and how to live the word of the divine. Remember, the word of the divine is which I got in those pamphlets yesterday. So all those groups, that's your word for the year. It's not so much what I'm saying up here. That's your word for the year, and it's supported by our various texts and stuff like that to keep you tuned up. So it said, get your life force together to improve your ability to live the word of the divine. Meaning, that sounds all good and positive on the surface. So when somebody say, yo, get your energy up, what is that? That's a positive affirmation, but it's a foreshadowing to something, right? Yeah. That's like somebody say, yo, put your dudes up, man. You know, don't just let me slap box on you. Get your hands up, man. And you be like, stop, I'm just playing. You know, like, get your hands up, man. So that's what Jehovah is saying. Get your hands up, man. I'm just playing, but something's coming. Something's coming, and if you can't deal with the playing around, then you ain't gonna be able to deal with the real thing that's coming. So you know part of fighting is intuitive, right? Y'all saw this fighting style called Wing Chun before, right? In Tai Chi, they got this thing called circular hands. You got your partner. Chi Sao. Then you got it goes back this way. And there's no pattern to it. You just got to use your intuition. So your partner got to be like, oh, okay, ooh, okay, bow, okay, bow. So the more practice you get, the more your intuition gets. That's what Jehudi is telling you. Pay attention. Learn to tune in. Learn to tune out as well as cut off and tune in. How do we do that? This year it says people are important. We know resources are important, right? But people are the greatest resource of a nation, not money, not things, because people have the money and people have the things. So you have to improve your relationships with people. You improve your relationships with people. You improve your ability to have access to better things. That makes sense? So it's telling us to stop with the counterfeit energy. So it's one thing to be like, oh, I'm coming out, you would touch. So it's saying what's coming down the pipe, the only way you're going to be able to survive is to get your energy up and connect with people properly. And I say even more, check in with people. Even though people say, I'm doing fine, people are not fine. Life is crazy for a lot of people. Now, listening to what y'all said yesterday of the stuff y'all was going through, I would have never had no idea you was going through that. So don't be afraid of real conversation when somebody in your business like, but are you really good though? Your energy's looking crazy. You saying you good, but are you really good? And give them an opportunity to help, because certain people are scared to ask for help. So if you scared to ask and it plops in your lap by somebody asking you, are you good? Take it. Instead of suffering for the rest of the year, then going back to the ancestors and say, why y'all ain't help? I need help. So I get it. Y'all want to be like the Christians and stuff like, but Judy, I went to the mailbox and I had $10,000 in it. You know how the Christians be with their little testimony. I went to the mailbox and guess what? I had $10,000 in the mail. You're like, oh, but you're a music producer, so that's from your royalties. No, you ain't getting just $10,000 out the blue, but that they'll lead you to believe that. So your connections is gonna come through the people. God or the divine is working through all of us. Where they say we're the ones that we've been waiting for. So yeah, you can walk on the ground and you can train yourself for prosperity when you could be like, oh, there's a penny, pick that up. There's a dime, pick that up. That's just showing that you're becoming open to how the universe is trying to show you something. So if you're so high and mighty that you can't bend down, bow, and pick up a penny, you ain't ready for the big money. So it's opening a door or a way and saying, get your ego out the way. I don't gotta work the way you think I'm supposed to work. That's how the divine is. That's why he speaks in whispers. Jehudi is the crane, sits on the water with one leg, still. Remember, the waters represent emotions. Emotions run deep. You gotta rise above the emotion. And the Jehudi, the crane, it sucks in the water, and Jehuti could give itself an enema. In the shape of it, the crane, when it's giving itself an enema, is the shape of a heart, the owl. Still heart, min owl. Okay. It's talking about success, victory. It's talking about public honor. Who got stuff that's going on that's requiring that your reputation be good with the people? All right. We opened the way for that yesterday. Stay on that higher frequency and watch that unfold. Remember, your connection to your success is through your resources, through people. Keep your energy right and make yourself more magnetic to the people that have the resources that you need. It says surmountable obstacles. So yeah, of course, life is gonna do lifing. Spirituality or life just ain't easy. Some obstacles gonna be there, but with Jehudi, we're moving smooth. We got the energy, like we can do this all day. Remember, you gotta have at least 3 or 4 days worth of energy, right? Then lastly, it says about the mysteries of femininity. We ain't talking about no gender stuff. Femininity is your ability to be receptive. Meaning, cultivate your ability to listen. Jehudi is whispering. So, this year is going to be a time of not just duty, but devotion. Remember, we said duty represents discipline, devotion represents loving the discipline. Mike Tyson became the fighting beast that he is because he loved the discipline. He began to love to hate what everybody else, he began to love what everybody else hate doing. And that brought him to another level of mastery that made him historical. So, can you be the Mike Tyson or whatever female figure in your life to change your duty or just your discipline to a devotion? And it says to continue to pay attention because Jehudi is whispering to each and every one of you in your ear on how you're supposed to make your unique shift, change, and transformation in that. And I'll leave it at that for today's lesson. That's good? Yes. All right. So let us raise up and close out. Can we say we're leaving in peace and satisfaction? Y'all satisfied with today's message? Yes. All right. Left foot forward. Hands up. Say shimmy and matap. Shimmy and matap. Right over left for the men, left over right for the women. Dianu Uncle Jocelyn.
Dianu Uncle Jocelyn.
Open up, give energy around the room. Bring it into the heart. Contract your foot. Let's ground out on the count of 3. Wa, Sanu, Shmet. All right. Run that there.
Thank you to those of you who joined us on Facebook and YouTube Live. We appreciate the donations that you send as forms of energy and reciprocity to the energy that you receive today. Donations may be sent by Cash App to $ Temple of New or by PayPal to templeofanu@gmail.com. We'll see you in 2 weeks at our next regularly scheduled communion. Shamim Atep, everyone.